Ooh, oh, you think that I won't you anymore. Listen, fellas, for anybody that thinks that I'm gonna stop, you've lost your fucking mind.
So, want to talk about the power schedule?
So if you're ever struggling to get in motion, get in gear, the best thing that you can do is commit. We call it creating a power schedule. So we keep a list of things that we have to do for each city. That way, when we go to that city, we book multiple things and there's no way I can get out of it because I've already committed to it. So it's either go against my word and the commitment that I made or book those things ahead of time so that way I'm forced to do podcasts. So like when I land in Dubai or I land in Los Angeles or I land in Vegas, I already have it scheduled with 5 or 6 people to do a podcast. There's no way out of it because in order for me to not do it, I would have to let somebody else down and I'd be wasting their time and I'd be going against my word. That's one of the biggest tricks I use for production is to make sure that I'm scheduling a lot of things where other people's time is on the line to get them done. That way I never not show up. It's just a trick that we use. Let's see how much we can get on this schedule in 48 hours. Here, go. There's no way out. You just ride it all the way through and get it done.
Force yourself to make it happen.
It's a good way to get things done.
What do you think about the challenges of life?
Think heavy is the head that wears a crown. What you have to understand about life is that you're the king in your own life at all times. You're trying to achieve, you're trying to grow, you're trying to develop, you're trying to be certain things for certain people in order to make everything run smoothly in all areas of your life, all dynamics of your life. And as the problems come to you, it's your job to place those problems on your shoulders. And the more you develop, the bigger those problems can get. It's like, goes back to my favorite quote, you can tell the size of a man by the size of his problems. But do understand that there's an honor in being the person that holds the weight of all of those problems, not just for yourself, but for the people around you. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and it's every man's job to bear that weight. And for that reason, it's something that he should take a lot of pride in. In regards to problems, bring them. I'm built for them.
What do you say to the people that are struggling to hold their crown?
If anybody's struggling to hold that weight, I would just simply say that you've never watched a movie that was any kind of interesting unless the main character went through trials and tribulations. No man achieves anything great without walking through fire. And if he's able to go through life without walking through any kind of fire, I can guarantee you he's a normal man. He's normal. He has normal problems that aren't even admirable to have. I'd rather be a man who crashes and burns on his way to large problems than be a normal man who dies in the thoughts of all the things that he wished he could have achieved. That's not the man you want to be.
What do you think of the victim mentality that most people have?
I think it feeds itself. If you have a victim mentality, you're actually putting walls and a prison around yourself. You're training yourself to believe that bad things are going to happen to you. And you'd be shocked at just how much those things can come true for you. There was a point in my life where I decided that I would make everything that happened to me positive, even if it was blatantly negative. What that did for me is to shine a light on all parts of my life and focus on those things. And I noticed that the more my focus went to the light, the more light I found. So if you're in this cycle of thinking negatively, you should always consider shining the light on how you can flip every situation to be positive, because you'd be shocked at just how much light that can put into your life. And when you have more light, you get positive momentum and you start to move in the direction of positive, and you can set yourself free from that prison of negative thought. Gentlemen, as some of you might know, I've been released from certain platforms as of late, so I'd like to extend an invitation. I'd like to extend an invitation to my Telegram channel. We're putting information there every day, new videos, quotes, voice memos, and a lot of other things that we're not going to be able to put online any longer. Hit the link below and I'll see you inside.
Why do you think luck is such an important factor in people?
Because I think luck can be generated. Luck is nothing more than preparation meeting opportunity. You can get really, really lucky by doing something so long that you're finally at the right place in the right time. And it can just miss you many, many times before that. But the more competent you become, the better you put yourself in position on the field. And the next thing you know, the ball bounces your way. Sometimes it bounces right into your hand. But you have to be on the field in the first place to be able to be in a position to see luck ever. The more you develop yourself, the more you put yourself out there, the more lucky you become. And people will say it's all due to luck, but I can tell you it's not. You think Michael Jordan practiced doing reverse layups years after years after years after years. Every time he made a reverse layup in a game, sometimes not even looking, he had enough muscle memory to get it close. Was it luck that made the ball go in? Sometimes, maybe so. But it took his skill set in doing that thing again and again and again and again that created the opportunity for the luck to happen in the first place. The harder you work, the luckier you'll get, and there's definitely a correlation between the two, and we call it luck. I've had plenty of it in my life, and I plan to develop myself to have even more in the future.
Beautiful. Okay, next topic, you could say, what do you think about building layers of wealth? How is that important?
What I like about building layers of wealth is having multiple income streams can save you from certain industries that are going to go through hard times. For example, let's say there's a huge real estate crisis, or real estate was slow. If I have construction, which is kind of tied to real estate, if I have my online business, the more different layers you have, the safer you are against industries that are going to go through hard times. All kinds of industries are going to do this. So the more layers you have in regards to your income, the safer you are and the more insulated you are from the storms that come into individual industries, like real estate or construction. So the more the better.
You think the ways of building those layers of security for your wealth is gonna change throughout the next few years?
Well, I think some things are here to stay. Construction and real estate are gonna be here to stay. I think the world's gonna change dramatically in regards to what's gonna be possible online. It could be good, it could be bad. Your job is not to necessarily dredge yourself in regards to what the future is. Sometimes you can make a lot of money in waves and those industries go away, but it doesn't matter because you made your money inside the pocket of time that allowed you to do so. And then you can take that money and go on to the next thing. A lot of times you can look at business like riding a wave. Some life cycles of business, certain businesses and certain industries come to an end, and that's okay. But when the time comes, you need to be looking up for plenty of other waves to catch. Then you can take the money and go into something else and ride that wave as well. But I'd be riding multiple layers of income to protect yourself from any downside that could come.
Do you think everyone has a potential inside of them?
Everyone has a potential. Everyone gets dealt a hand in life and they look at the hand and they say, okay, what can I do to work harder to get the most out of this particular hand? If I had been dealt a different hand in life, I would have evaluated that hand in life and asked myself, what can I do with this talent or this skill set or this deficiency to set myself up to do bigger and better things so I can get the life that I want? Everybody has to look at the hand that they're dealt in life and evaluate it honestly and truthfully and ask themselves, what do I need to do to take myself to where I would like to be in my life based off the hand that I'm dealt, and what skill sets and strengths do I need to build around this hand in order to do that? Everyone has to ask themselves that question. They need to be brutally honest when they do. I think about the hand I was dealt, where I currently am, what skill sets I have, and I often hire around them. If I don't think I have some skill set, it doesn't mean that I can't get it done. It just means that I have to get it done through leverage and hiring a person that does have that skill set or does have that energy for that task. I don't sit still and go through contracts very well. It's boring to me. So I hire somebody that loves attention to detail, that loves reading contracts, that loves finding the mistakes that could run us into trouble in the business and eliminating them. Just because you don't have a certain skill set doesn't mean you can't achieve what the skill set provides in your life. It just means that you have to hire for it.
Why do you think intention is so important?
Intention is the #1 core value in any one of my companies. And I care about intention so much because if a person genuinely has intent, then any mistake they make or have made can be fixed. I would rather a person less talented with full intention than a full talented person with no intention. Some of the best people that you'll ever get to work with you or in your business will have the highest levels of intention, and that intention will drive them towards the competency they need to be successful in that chair in your organizational board. But you could take a person with light years more talent than that individual and them not truly have the intention to be there and be a part of the group and the mission and sabotage the whole thing through their lack of effort as a bad example to the other people on the team, as a person who clearly doesn't care about the mission, and for that reason it was supposed a leader for letting them be a part of a group when so many other people had such clear intent regardless of the talent that that person has. You have to cut people that don't have intention because you need a team full of people rowing the boat in the same direction, and that will always be more powerful than having one individual that has all the talent. Take the intention and build an army. Talent without intent is worthless. Always compare scope and a rifle. That rifle's been sitting in your grandpa's closet for 20 years. You want to pull it out. It's your gun now. You've inherited the gun. You can sit there and guess if it's on or not. Or you can put the gun on the vise, put a target in front of it, shoot the gun dead center, and just find out how off it is. And then you can make the adjustments. A lot of people aim. They're aiming. The gun's already off. It's going to be off a little bit. You have to do your due diligence to make sure you're going to hit the target. But I can almost guarantee you're not going to hit a bullseye on the first try. So do your due diligence to get the gun down range, start the business, make a little money, and then slowly and accurately hone in the rest, because inaction is never gonna beat action ever. And you're never gonna know how far that gun is off until you shoot it in the first place. Fire, aim, ready.
Do you ever think what you're doing is insufficient?
Dude, I'm never happy with the things I accomplish. I think a lot of people look at that as a sickness or something that they should try to fix. But what I've found is that voice that'll never go away, that is always like, yeah, Justin, but you could have done this. Or no matter what I do, it's never enough. I think that's the voice that makes you great. That's the voice you should be most afraid of losing. The voice that haunts you is the one that makes you great. Not the people patting you on the back telling you that you've done enough. Those people are often trying to slow you down because it creates a bigger voice of uncertainty in their own head about their own accomplishments. Embrace it. It's a gift from God.
Do you still have the bitch voice?
I do have the bitch voice, man. I absolutely still have the bitch voice. That voice comes up when you're fighting yourself over things you know you should do. So maybe I don't feel like working out after getting off of it. I'm like, oh, well, the hotel gym is going to be trash anyway, so I can't really get a workout. Then walk the Equinox. So I still have it. It's just not as hard for me to overcome it. He knows who the boss is.
How are you able to diminish the bitch voice?
I don't talk about willpower a whole lot. I can't particularly define willpower in any other way but this, is that I get angry angry. Shut the fuck up. Like, yeah, we're going to the gym. Like, I would get angry at myself when that voice got too loud. I would take that angry energy and put it towards the exact opposite of whatever the small voice said and just drowned it out.
What are your thoughts on work-life balance?
I don't particularly believe in work-life balance. Number one, if you genuinely like what you're doing, you're gonna wanna do it all the time. The only way to get there is to get good at what you're doing, which means that you can have a painful period that it would feel like work. But at some point, when you start to succeed in it, it becomes way more fun than just work. Two, you're spending time with the people on your teams, building your company. Like, what else could you wanna do other than that? I can tell you as a person that's been to a lot of places, you can go to any city in the world and you can stay in the nicest hotel and you can go along the streets, but travel is not better than getting work done, not the fulfillment of succeeding and pushing the ball down the field. A lot of happiness is in progress. So I don't believe in work-life balance. I get a daily dose of happiness through achieving the goals that I've set in these businesses. I don't need to call a vacation life. I just keep working on vacation. I don't ever stop working and I enjoy it truly. And I think that any person that is looking to find happiness will often find it in growth and growth alone. So in regards to work-life balance, I don't believe in it. I think it's something that people say to make themselves feel better when they're not achieving their goals or they need a day off from what they're failing at in the first place. I don't like work-life balance at all.
So it's about climbing the mountain.
Always, 1000%.
What do you think is the purpose of a man's life?
Close the gap between his expectations and his reality based on the work that he's done to develop himself. Make sure he takes care of everybody in his life that he loves, that he can have honor, not only to the people that he loves, but to himself. He can create true freedom in his life. He doesn't have to say a certain thing or be a certain thing out of his own accord. He can live his life on his own terms. That's the kind of man I want to. I want to be known for being ruthlessly loyal to the people that I love and myself, and in addition, living a life of freedom on my terms inside the framework that I wanted to live inside my life, which was my choice. I don't see that there's much else that you can do.
What is the path young men should take if they want to fulfill that manly purpose?
You should find out what's important to them and them only. What do they want when nobody's around, when nobody's looking? Ask yourself the question, what do I want out of my life? What do I want it to look like? Build that vision out and then follow it regardless of what anybody else wants from you. You can make 1,000 people happy and not make yourself happy and be a failure. If you make 100 people happy and you're actually genuinely doing exactly what you want to do and chasing all the goals that you have for your own life, then you'll live a substantially happier life with just those 100 people. In addition, you'd be shocked at how fast you can replace the other 900 people because there's so many people in this world that are going to love you for exactly who you are. It's just your job to find them.
Have any advice for people to find those 100 people?
Yeah, go in online communities. Look for the things that you're interested in. Join those groups, be around those people, absorb that energy. If your heart is telling you to go one direction and you can't find anyone that feels the same way, but then you go find people online that do believe in what you believe, and you start to spend their time with them, then you don't have to change who you are because you're no longer wrong. Find the people that your soul aligns with and go find a life exactly on the terms and what you're looking for. There's nothing wrong with that. There's somebody out there for every person, every interest, and everything that you want to do. It's your job to go find them and not worry or look back at the people that don't understand you. You'll never be true to yourself if you're doing that.
How do you go about finding friends?
How do I go about finding friends? There has to be value. I have to find somebody that has value to me and I can give value back to them. And if I don't feel that that relationship is correct or right, then there's not a whole lot of reason to be friends. You can be kind, but there's no real reason to build a true bond unless both of you are going to get better as a result of that friendship. And I know a lot of people don't like the fact that I always say that if we're not doing business, why be friends? But what you have to understand is if I care about you and I want to see you have a better life and I'm truly your friend, I'm going to push you to make more money, have more power, more status, better position with your wife, respect from your kids and your family. If I can't create that for you through us growing upwardly together on the same trajectory, then I'm not really your friend in the first place. I'm a person you waste time with, and I have no interest in being that for anybody because I want so much more for everyone in this world, including the people that I've not met yet. So I look for my friends through mutual growth, benefit, potential, because if I really care about you, that's what I want for you in your life. That's what a friend is, not somebody you waste time with.
How do you deal with hate?
How do I deal with hate?
Yeah.
Oh, you think that I won't promote TRW anymore? Listen, fellas, for anybody that thinks that I'm gonna stop supporting the best online school in the world just because some nerd wrote an article about me and tried to tell on me to the big juggernaut, you've lost your fucking mind. The Real World is the best online campus on the planet. You will find guys there that are absolute dogs making money every day with the newest technology to kill it in every space you can possibly be in on the internet. You think this run with the Real World is over just because I got my little channel canceled? You're wrong, cowboy. See you inside.